The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 4. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called to him out of the midst of the bush, "Moses, Moses." And he said, "Here I am, beloved chosen one." Pause for a moment and breathe in this truth. One ordinary day in the desert, one shepherd, one flame that refused to be consumed, and all of history changed. That is how divine moments appear quietly, suddenly, and without warning. You do not always see the heavens part or angels descend. Sometimes, it's just a flicker of fire that doesn't burn out the moment when eternity leans close to whisper your name. Moses didn't wake up that morning expecting destiny. He was tending sheep, walking the same paths, staring at the same rocks, carrying the same doubts. Yet heaven had marked that day. It was written before time began that this shepherd would step into purpose when the fire called him by name. Just as Moses turned aside to look, heaven waited for that one act attention, curiosity, obedience. Because the moment he turned, everything shifted. Chosen one, listen carefully. January 15th is your burning bush. It will not come with thunder or spectacle, but with a divine interruption that sets your heart ablaze. The Lord has seen your wandering, your long years in hidden places, the tears you never explained to anyone. There is a moment a day when the wilderness becomes holy ground and your ordinary becomes sacred. That day is approaching. You might not believe it yet, but heaven is preparing the scene exactly as it did for Moses. The same voice that called him by name is whispering your own. Turn aside and see. Every delay, every detour, every lonely path has led to this, not punishment, but preparation. You have been shaped in silence so that when the fire speaks, you will recognize it. The bush burned but was not consumed. That is you, chosen one. Life has thrown flames at you, trials, betrayal, exhaustion, yet you still stand. You have walked through fire, but it did not consume you, it refined you. And like Moses, you are about to hear the call that defines your next chapter. If this word stirs something deep in your spirit, pause and tap, like not for the algorithm, but as a prophetic agreement that you are listening. Every like is a silent amen written in heaven's record. Share this message so another wandering soul might notice their own burning bush. The desert wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to tune your ear. When the noise of the world fades, the frequency of heaven grows louder. That's why this moment matters. January 15th is not coincidence. Heaven is aligning timelines and writing your name into new chapters of destiny. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not required, only response. When God calls your name, He isn't asking for perfection, He's asking for presence. He doesn't need your eloquence, He needs your "here I am." That simple surrender rewrites destinies. Moses said it trembling, uncertain, but heaven heard it as agreement. In that single moment, shepherd became deliverer, wanderer became leader, and history itself shifted. Now, beloved chosen one, the same anointing hovers over your life. The same God who set the bush aflame is igniting the hidden embers inside you. You may have thought you were forgotten, but heaven has been watching. You are being positioned for something that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. If you feel the weight of this word, offer a small donation, not as payment, but as worship, a prophetic act saying, "Here I am, Lord, send me." Every seed sown in obedience grows in holy soil. You are standing on holy ground, even as you read. The timing, the place, the message, none of this is random. Heaven has paused its rhythm to speak directly to your spirit. Do not miss your burning bush moment. You have been in the desert long enough. But now, a shift is coming, the kind that redefines history. January 15th will be remembered as the day your "Here I am" unlocked divine destiny. This is your confirmation. Like Moses, you are being called out of hiding. You are being prepared to stand as a voice in your generation. Before you leave this moment, take one step of obedience. Engage. Declare. Let heaven record your yes. Comment the number 15 below, not as a number, but as a prophetic act. Subscribe so you will not miss the next word that builds upon this one. Heaven is counting your response. Beloved chosen one, something has been moving inside you that you cannot explain. You feel it in quiet moments, a trembling in your chest, a whisper in your thoughts, a pull in your spirit. It is not panic. Though it makes your heart race, it is not anxiety. Though it unsettles your comfort, it is the divine motion of heaven, the gentle stirring of the Holy Spirit preparing you for transformation. But you must learn to discern it, to separate the holy stirring from the restless shaking, because one carries heaven's breath and the other carries human fear. The stirring is sacred. It is the soft movement of the Spirit awakening something eternal within you. It calls you closer to purity, deeper into prayer, higher into purpose. It humbles without shaming. It challenges, yet it brings peace. You are moved, but never thrown into chaos. The shaking, however, imitates movement but lacks the fragrance of peace. It is noise disguised as urgency, the mind spinning, the emotions roaring, the spirit gasping for air. It drives you into reaction instead of revelation. And when you cannot tell them apart, the stirring that was meant to draw you in becomes smothered by fear. Chosen one, your maturity in the Spirit is measured by how well you can discern the difference. You are not called to suppress your emotions. You are called to interpret them through heaven's filter. When you feel that trembling within, pause. Do not rush to silence it. Ask, Lord, is this you stirring me? Or is this my own storm? That one question invites divine wisdom. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in the first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 19. Do not quench the Spirit. Those 5 words are not suggestion, they are instruction. To quench means to extinguish, to pour water on a flame meant to burn. The Spirit stirs you because He trusts you. When you dismiss His movement as emotion, you extinguish the very fire that was meant to guide you. So today, practice awareness. When your spirit feels moved, instead of asking why, ask what now. Sit in the stillness and let the stirring mature. The Spirit does not rush. He refines. Here is your spiritual exercise. When you wake each morning, take 60 seconds to be silent. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, Holy Spirit, I will not quench your stirring. Do the same before you sleep. These small pauses train your inner ear to stay sensitive. You are not waiting for thunder. You are learning to feel divine movement in the quiet. During your day, you will begin to notice subtle moments, a sudden compassion for someone, a sense that you should pray, a warning before you speak. These are not coincidences. They are invitations. Do not brush them away. Respond softly. Yes, Lord, I hear you. That is how relationship with the Spirit deepens, not through shouting, but through surrender. When confusion rises or fear tightens your chest, breathe deeply and say, This is not your voice. Lord, suit. I release it. Every time you do, you separate shaking from stirring. You grow stronger in discernment. Heaven can entrust you with more. Many ignore this training. They want miracles but not sensitivity. They seek fire but reject the flicker. Yet you, chosen one, are different. You feel everything because God designed you to. You are an instrument that vibrates with heaven's rhythm. When the Spirit moves, you resonate. Do not apologize for that sensitivity. It is sacred technology. It is how prophets are born. Your task is simple but holy. Keep the flame alive. When conviction comes, obey. When compassion rises, act. When joy wells up, give thanks. Each response adds oil to the fire, and soon, what began as a whisper will become a voice that shapes destinies. January 15th is approaching, the day the stirring becomes assignment. The Spirit is rehearsing your obedience now so that when the moment comes, you will recognize His move instantly. These small tremors in your heart are previews of the greater wave that is coming. So do not suppress the stirring, so guard it. Feed it with prayer. Protect it from noise. When others laugh or call you too emotional, smile quietly, for they cannot hear the song heaven is teaching you. Beloved, this week, your only task is to stay aware. Let your heart become the sanctuary where the Spirit moves freely. Do not analyze every feeling. Instead, invite the Holy Spirit to translate them. Where there is peace, there is presence. Where there is love, there is God. Do not quench the stirring, for what trembles in you now will roar through you soon. Beloved chosen one, you have felt the stirring. You have learned to discern its rhythm. And now heaven waits for your response. For what good is divine movement if it never becomes motion? What good is revelation if it never becomes obedience? You were not chosen merely to feel the presence of God, you were chosen to move with it. Throughout Scripture, heaven always required response. When Noah felt the warning, he built. When Abraham heard the call, he left everything familiar. When Esther felt the weight of her moment, she stepped forward. When Mary heard the angel's words, she said, "Let it be unto me." They did not wait for certainty, they responded to stirring, and that is the mark of the chosen. And now it is your turn. Heaven has been watching your sensitivity, observing how you respond when conviction comes. Do you delay? Do you explain it away, or do you act? Every moment of stirring is a divine invitation, a knock from the Spirit asking, "Will you move when I move?" The apostle wrote in the letter of James, chapter 1, verse 22. Do not merely listen to the word, and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. That verse is the heartbeat of this season. Many hear, but few obey. Many feel, but few follow. The true child of God is not proven by how much they hear, but by how quickly they respond. So here is heaven's challenge to you today. When you feel that divine pull, the nudge to forgive, the whisper to pray, the prompting to step out, respond immediately. Don't wait until it makes sense. The Spirit does not explain. He leads. He tests obedience before He reveals outcome. This is how you train your reflex in the Spirit. Every small yes strengthens your spiritual muscle. Every delayed response weakens it. The more quickly you obey, the more clearly you will hear. Because the voice of God grows louder in lives that respond. Chosen one, you are not in a season of learning alone. You are in a season of activation. Heaven is not sending you new information. Heaven is waiting on your application. The door to destiny opens not with understanding, but with obedience. When you act on a whisper, heaven moves mountains. When you respond to conviction, chains break silently. Your response carries creative power. The universe recognizes obedience to divine will. It rearranges itself to favor those who move in sync with God. So right now, I invite you to declare your readiness not with a speech, not with emotion, but with a whisper that heaven can record. Comment, "I will move." Let those 3 words be your covenant with God today. You are not commenting to a video. You are writing your vow into eternity. You are telling heaven, I refuse to hesitate when you call. And heaven will remember that. When God finds a person who responds quickly, He accelerates their destiny. Delays break, opportunities open. Divine appointments begin to appear like constellations aligning in your sky. That is the reward of a responsive heart. Do not fear missing the mark. Even if you step imperfectly, obedience will realign your path. Heaven values motion over perfection. God can correct movement. He cannot direct stillness. If you wait for perfect timing, you will miss divine timing. There will be moments when fear whispers, "What if I'm wrong?" But faith answers, "What if I'm right?" Move anyway. Heaven prefers a trembling yes over a confident delay. Beloved, your "I will move" is not just a phrase, it's a lifestyle. It's the rhythm of those who walk by faith and not by sight. When God calls, you go. When He stirs, you act. This is how the chosen live: responsive, ready, radiant. January 15th is not only a date, it's a summons. You've been stirred, trained, refined. Now you are being released. The moments between now and then are preparation for quick obedience. So from this day forward, when you feel the stirring, move. When the Spirit whispers, answer. Don't analyze, don't postpone. Let your heart say, I will move. For in that moment, heaven will move with you. Even now, heaven watches to see who will answer the whisper. You have been chosen not just to believe, but to become movement itself, the living echo of God's command. Walking revelation, clothed in obedience, carrying divine fire wherever you go. So go, chosen one. Let the world feel the vibration of your yes. Let creation witness what happens when surrender meets destiny. Move boldly, move quickly, and move in faith, for every step you take shakes eternity awake. Beloved chosen one, there are moments when heaven pauses to measure the weight of your faith, not in words, but in endurance. You have felt the stirring. You have answered the call. But now you are entering the proving ground of trust. It is one thing to say, I will move, and another to keep moving when everything seems silent. You must understand this truth. Divine silence is not divine absence. When God hides, He is not gone. He is growing your roots. The tree does not stop living when winter comes, it grows deeper underground. So too does your spirit in seasons of stillness. You may not see the evidence yet, but heaven is still working. What feels like delay is often design. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The tests you face now are not meant to break you, but to prove the strength of your yes. For every chosen one must walk through a wilderness between stirring and fulfillment. The ancient words recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2. Speak to this truth. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart. That verse is not a warning, it is revelation. God leads through wilderness not to lose you, but to locate you. He wants to know if your faith stands firm when feelings fade. The wilderness does not destroy the chosen, it defines them. Chosen one. The silence you feel now is not punishment, it's training. God is strengthening your discernment, shaping your patience, and proving that your obedience was not dependent on emotion. You are learning to trust the hand of the invisible. Do not mistake the absence of noise for the absence of movement. Heaven is quieter when the miracle is closer. The enemy screams before breakthrough, but God often whispers. And right now, heaven is whispering, hold steady, I am still here. You may be asking, Lord, when will I see it? But heaven is asking you, will you believe me even when you can't? This is the essence of faith, standing on promises while your eyes see nothing but dust. The path of the chosen is not paved with certainty. It is lit by trust. You walk step by step, guided by a voice that doesn't always explain, but never misleads. You're being taught the art of staying when running feels easier. Do not despise the process. Every hidden season is sacred. When nothing seems to happen outside, everything is happening inside. Roots are forming. Character is solidifying. Faith is maturing. What is built in silence will one day speak loudly. So take this moment as an altar of remembrance. Whisper quietly where you are. Lord, I still trust you. Let that be your worship in the waiting. Worship is not a song. It's surrender when you don't understand. Heaven hears faith more clearly than fear. Every time you choose to trust instead of complain, you release a fragrance that angels recognize. The unseen world moves at the sound of your perseverance. And now, as a prophetic act, a sign of your agreement with heaven's process, I call you to mark this moment with a number of faith. Comment the number 44. 44 is symbolic of divine foundation and completion, a reminder that what God begins, He also finishes. When you type that number, let it not be just digits, but declaration, my faith will not expire in silence. Heaven is watching your endurance. You are not failing the test, you are passing it by standing, even when you feel nothing. Faith is speaking, even when tears fall. Heaven records them as worship. Soon, you will see why the silence was necessary. The same God who called you at the burning bush is still guiding you through the desert. He has not changed His mind about you. Chosen one, remember this: every wilderness ends at a promised land, and every night gives birth to dawn. You are closer to breakthrough than you realize. The stirring was the beginning, the silence is the middle, and manifestation is next. So keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing when it makes no sense. For the God who tested Israel in the wilderness is the same God preparing your table in the presence of your enemies. Do not give up now, you are almost there. Let the silence refine you, not define you. And when you cannot hear His voice, trust His record. He has never failed one who kept moving. Type 44 below, not for me, but as your flag planted in faith. Let heaven see your endurance written in digital ink, proof that even in silence, you still believe. Beloved chosen one, do you know what happens when a seed is buried from the surface? It looks like death, dark soil, silence, and waiting. But beneath that stillness, life is fighting to emerge. The soil presses, the darkness surrounds, yet within that hidden place, the seed splits open, releasing new potential. That is exactly what is happening in you. Every hidden season, every lonely prayer, every unseen act of faith, these are not wasted. They are your roots growing deeper, your spirit stretching wider. You are being expanded in secret so you can bear fruit in public. Do not despise the soil. It is the womb of transformation. Heaven has not forgotten you. In fact, heaven has invested too much in you to let you stay small. The same God who watched over Joseph in the pit, Daniel in the lion's den, and David in the field is watching over you. The silence of your season is not neglect, it is nurturing. The pressure is not punishment, it is preparation. The Word of God declares in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap, if we do not give up." That verse breathes over you like rain over dry ground. You have been sowing in faith, in love, in obedience, and though you have not yet seen the harvest, heaven promises it is coming. Seeds do not shout when they grow. They simply push through the dirt quietly. You are pushing through right now. chosen one. When the heart grows tired, remember this: every act of kindness is a seed. Every prayer whispered when no one is watching is a seed. Every time you forgive, give, or stay faithful, you are planting into eternal soil. Heaven never loses track of your sowing. And when your spirit feels heavy, do not carry the weight alone. That is why this community exists, a garden of believers growing side by side, watering one another through faith, compassion, and generosity. If this word has spoken to your heart, let your response be worship in motion. Tap like as one who lights a lantern in the night. It may seem small, but each flame declares, "Lord, I receive this word. Let it shine through me." Share this message as one scattering seeds upon the wind. Perhaps your obedience becomes someone else's harvest. Perhaps your simple act will awaken a heart long asleep. Subscribe as one who stays near the river's flow. The river never stops moving, and those who remain near it never run dry. By staying connected, you keep your spirit refreshed by heaven's continual rain. If you feel led to donate, do it as one laying wood upon the altar. It is not payment, but partnership, fuel for the fire that warms other souls. What you give does not leave you. It grows beyond you. Each of these acts is not transaction, it is transformation. You are watering your own harvest by keeping your soil open. You may wonder, why does this matter? Because your agreement fuels the message. Your engagement is not about numbers, it is about alignment. When you participate, you become part of heaven's echo, spreading light into corners you may never see, touching lives you may never meet. Picture this every time you share a word of faith. It's like lighting a candle in someone else's night. Every time you sow, you drop a seed into someone's famine. Every time you respond, you help heaven build bridges across deserts of despair. This is what it means to live chosen, to let your life become the movement of God in motion. You are not an observer of miracles, you are a carrier of them. The anointing that rests on this message does not end here. It flows through your obedience. You are part of something larger than yourself, a chain of light stretching across generations. Heaven is weaving your faith into the tapestry of eternity. Even your smallest act of support ripples through the unseen. So, beloved, do not hold back your light. Pour where heaven leads you. Sow where your soul feels alive. Like the seed in the soil, give what you have and watch what God will multiply. There will come a time when you will look back and realize the moments you thought were small were actually sacred. Every simple act of love was a seed heaven remembered. The harvest will not delay, and when it comes, you will see why you were called to sow even when it hurt, to stay faithful even when it was quiet. So breathe deeply, chosen one. Lift your eyes to the horizon. The field is turning green again. The rain of promise is near. Keep sowing, keep believing, keep nurturing what God has planted in you and in others. Your faithfulness today fuels the miracles of tomorrow. Beloved chosen one, every destiny has a night. Every calling must pass through darkness before the dawn. Even Jesus, the light of the world, walked through his own night in Gethsemane. The night is not the absence of God, it is the classroom of trust. It is where faith stops being theory and becomes breath. You have felt that night, haven't you, the heaviness when prayers echo back in silence, the long waiting when promises seem delayed, the confusion when you can't tell whether you're being tested or forgotten. But listen carefully, the night is not your enemy. It is the shadow of the wings that cover you while God works in secret. Every chosen one must learn to recognize what kind of night they are standing in. Some nights are nights of warfare, when darkness presses close and every thought feels attacked. Some are nights of pruning, when God cuts away what you once thought you needed. Some are nights of gestation, when nothing appears to grow but something is forming in the unseen. Your first step, chosen one, is to practice awareness, to ask yourself, what night am I in? This is not self-pity, it is spiritual intelligence. For once you recognize your night, you stop running from it. You begin to see that every night carries its own purpose. The prophet wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." That promise is not poetic comfort, it is divine pattern. Joy will come, but only for those who refuse to quit before sunrise. Many never see the dawn because they abandon faith midway through the night. But you, beloved, are not one of them. You are being trained to hold the line until light breaks through. There is a kind of strength that can only be born in darkness. The stars themselves cannot be seen in daylight. Likewise, your endurance shines brightest when the world around you grows dim. Heaven watches closely during these hours. Every tear, every whispered prayer, every trembling, I still believe they are all offerings that rise like incense. So here is your prophetic practice for this season tonight. Before you sleep, turn off every light and sit in the dark for 1 minute. Do not reach for your phone or distract your mind. Just breathe. Whisper softly, "Lord, I will not give up in this night." Let the stillness wrap around you. Feel the weight of silence and know that even here, God is present. This exercise is not ritual, it is training. You are teaching your soul that faith does not depend on sight. You are strengthening the muscles of trust that will carry you into the dawn. When fear comes, remind yourself, if I am in a night of warfare, then victory is near. If I am in a night of pruning, then fruit is close. If I am in a night of gestation, then birth is coming. Every night serves a purpose. The trick of the enemy is to convince you that midnight is forever. But midnight is just the turning point between endings and beginnings. The same God who held Daniel among lions, who stood with Paul in prison, who sang through Silas in chains, He is the same God standing beside you right now. Do not misinterpret the silence of heaven as the absence of care. God's greatest work is often done in whispers too deep for words. Chosen one, the dawn does not rush, but it never fails to come. The darker it gets, the closer you are to light. The devil fears a believer who can praise through the night, because praise in darkness breaks his hold. So worship, even if it's quiet, even if it's weak worship anyway. Each breath of gratitude is a crack in the wall of despair. Remember this truth: the night cannot outlast obedience. The sun rises for those who stand. You may bend, but you will not break. You may weep, but you will not wither. God is not asking you to understand this season, He is asking you to outlast it. So tonight, as you finish this message, pause and look within. Ask yourself, what night am I in? And then declare softly, I will not leave before dawn. Let those words echo through the unseen realm like a torch held high. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are simply walking through holy darkness toward promised light. Stand firm, beloved. Your morning is nearer than it seems. Beloved chosen one. There is a kind of silence that is not empty, it is sacred. You are standing in that silence now. After the storm, after the battle of the night, there comes a strange stillness, as if heaven itself holds its breath. Do not rush through this moment. This is the calm after obedience, the pause before revelation. Many mistake this stillness for distance, but it is presence in disguise. God often hides within quiet because quietness sharpens hearing. When everything around you stops making noise, that is when the voice within becomes clear. You are being taught the language of stillness, a dialect only the deeply surrendered can understand. Do you remember the story of Elijah on the mountain? The wind tore through the rocks, but the Lord was not in the wind. The earthquake shook the ground, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. The fire roared, but the Lord was not in the fire. Then came a gentle whisper, and Elijah knew. That is what this moment is for you. The gentle whisper. In the school of destiny, silence is the classroom where wisdom is born. The heart that can be still in uncertainty becomes the vessel heaven can trust with revelation. You are not being ignored, you are being instructed. The quiet places are where divine mysteries mature. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 15, say, "In quietness and confidence shall be your strength." That is your portion now, strength born not of motion, but of stillness. You do not need to prove your worth or announce your progress. Heaven already knows the path it has written for you. Faith does not need applause, it needs endurance. In this season, your assignment is simple: stay steady. Do not run to fill the silence. Do not try to replace the quiet with noise. Let your soul rest in the certainty that God is working even when He seems still. There is beauty in learning to rest without answers. It is an act of rebellion against fear. The world will tell you to fix, to rush, to force outcomes, but the Spirit whispers, "Be still." When you resist the urge to solve, you create space for God to unfold. This stillness is not emptiness, it is gestation. Something is forming inside your obedience, waiting for heaven's timing. The seed of revelation is deep within you, drawing strength from silence. Just as a child grows unseen in the womb, your next chapter is developing in the dark, waiting for the appointed time to be born. Let patience have its perfect work. Every moment of waiting is polishing your faith like a diamond in pressure. Every unanswered prayer is shaping your discernment, teaching you to hear with more precision, to see beyond emotion, to trust beyond logic. If you could see what heaven sees, you would not be afraid of stillness, you would treasure it. This is where warriors sharpen their swords, where prophets tune their ears, where leaders learn humility. God is not delaying you, He is deepening you. Do not despise small beginnings, nor silent middles. The glory of your story is not just in its climax, but in its crafting. Every pause is deliberate. Every breath you take in this calm is rewriting something in your soul. Chosen one, remember how seeds grow: first the root, then the shoot, then the fruit. You are somewhere between root and shoot, and that's where silence works best. The unseen root system is expanding, anchoring you so that when the wind of visibility comes, you will not topple. Let your heart grow comfortable with mystery. Not every question deserves an answer yet. Some truths are meant to be lived before they are explained. The divine often hides behind the ordinary until the right moment. If this quiet feels heavy, it is because heaven is resting its hand upon you. The weight you feel is not emptiness but presence, the pressure of purpose being settled deep inside. You are not waiting for God to arrive. You are waiting for His timing to ripen. So breathe. Chosen one. You are safe in this silence. You are held even when you do not feel held. You are guided even when you see no map. The same voice that called you through the fire now watches over you in the still waters. Let this be your sacred pause before the next rising. Rest your heart, steady your mind, and know this stillness is not the end of movement. It is the beginning of clarity. When dawn breaks again, you will move with greater power, for your spirit will have learned to walk in rhythm with the heartbeat of heaven. Be still now, chosen one. You are exactly where you need to be. Beloved chosen one, the dawn is beginning to stir. You may not yet see the light, but you can feel it, the quiet shift in the air, the subtle warmth that announces change. Something within you knows that the season of waiting has reached its turning point. You are standing between what was promised and what is about to manifest. This is a sacred threshold, and thresholds are never comfortable. They demand courage. They demand faith that acts before evidence. For a moment like this, heaven asks not for your explanation, but for your expectation. You are being invited to believe again, not in vague hope, but in specific promise. Remember how Moses stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh behind him and waves before him. He had no visible path, yet he lifted his staff in faith. That gesture, one act of obedience, became the bridge to freedom. Heaven always responds to motion rooted in faith. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Those ancient words echo across time into your heart. What you have prayed for, cried for, and waited for is not denied, only delayed until its perfect hour. The delay was never rejection. It was alignment. Heaven needed to finish building what your destiny required before it handed you the key. Now, the rhythm shifts. What was beneath the surface is about to break through. You can sense the spiritual pressure, the way a seed feels just before it pierces the soil. That tension you feel is not anxiety, it is birth. But the birthing moment requires focus. The enemy will always shout louder when heaven is about to speak. Distractions, doubts, and sudden fears will come to tempt you to look back, to lose faith, to slow down. You must keep your eyes fixed forward. Chosen one. Hear this: the most dangerous moment of faith is not at the beginning of waiting, but at the end, when you are so close that the distance feels cruel. That is when many give up. One prayer too early, one breath before breakthrough. Do not let that be your story. You are closer than you think. You are standing at the edge of fulfillment. The winds that once opposed you are about to carry you. The pressure that once crushed you is about to propel you. This is why heaven keeps whispering, hold your ground. Now, I ask you to mark this moment with a simple act of faith, a declaration that heaven will record as proof of your endurance. Comment, it's time. Those two words are not casual, they are covenant. When you write them, let your spirit mean it. Let your soul rise to meet the timing of God. You are not announcing impatience, you are announcing readiness. You are saying, Lord, I recognize that you have prepared me in the silence, trained me in the waiting, and now I am ready for the revealing. When you type, it's time. Imagine heaven nodding in agreement. Angels move when faith speaks. Destiny responds when obedience declares. You are aligning your mouth with heaven's clock. This is more than symbolic, it is prophetic participation. Your words are keys. And this phrase unlocks what has been waiting behind the door of delay. Faith always needs an echo. And when your echo matches heaven's decree, doors swing open. Beloved, take courage. The dawn that you have prayed for is approaching. The same God who sustained you through the night will now illuminate your path. The lessons learned in darkness will become your wisdom in light. Every tear you shed is water that will soon nourish your joy. When morning finally comes, you will realize why you had to endure every shadow. God was not punishing you. He was positioning you. He was not hiding from you. He was hiding you until the right time. And that time is near. You can almost hear the sound of heaven turning the page. What was hidden will be revealed. What was delayed will be delivered. What was broken will be rebuilt in beauty. So stand tall, chosen one. Lift your eyes. The horizon is brightening. The promises spoken over your life are already unfolding. Even now, you are walking into answered prayer, step by step, breath by breath. Say it once more within your heart, it's time, because heaven agrees it truly is. Beloved chosen one, every crown has a story. No crown is handed out lightly. Before it rests upon a head, it must be forged in fire, shaped through pressure, and refined through pain. The world sees only the glitter, but heaven remembers the cost. The true value of your crown is not the metal that shines, but the endurance that was tested. It carries the memory of every prayer whispered through tears, every battle fought in silence, and every night you chose faith over fear. You were never called to wear imitation glory. The crowns of this world are made of attention, applause, and fleeting admiration, fragile things that dissolve with time. But the crown heaven gives cannot rust or fade. It is not placed by men. It is bestowed by the hand of the chief shepherd himself. The voice of God speaks in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 4. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. That is your promise. Chosen one, a crown of glory that does not depend on the world's approval. It is the evidence that you remained faithful when others walked away, that you stood when it would have been easier to fall. It is the sign that you carried light even when the night was heavy. But before heaven places a crown on your head, it must strengthen your shoulders to carry it. Weight always comes before worth. Every trial, every delay, every stretching moment was heaven teaching you how to balance authority with humility. Glory is heavy because it is holy. Now, as you step toward the fulfillment of destiny, heaven also teaches you discernment to recognize the true roar of destiny from the false noise of performance. The true roar is born from surrender. It does not beg to be heard, it simply cannot be silenced. It shakes the unseen not because it is loud, but because it is real. It is the sound of one who has walked through fire and come out fragrant with faith. That roar is recognized in heaven because it carries the tone of obedience. The false roar, however, is hollow. It is loud but empty, full of ego, void of anointing. It seeks attention, not alignment. It can stir a crowd but cannot shift atmospheres. It echoes self, not spirit. You must learn to discern between the two, between authority and arrogance, between divine sound and human echo. So here is your spiritual practice, 3 steps to help you live this truth. Step 1, remember the origin of your crown. Each morning, whisper this prayer, Lord. Remind me of the battles that built me. Visualize every trial as a stone in your crown. Let gratitude replace pride. When you know where your crown came from, you'll wear it with humility. Step 2, refine your roar. Before you speak or act, pause and ask, is this roar born from peace or from pride? If it comes from stillness, release it. If it comes from restlessness, withhold it. This trains your spirit to speak only what carries heaven's weight. Step 3, reign through reverence. Each evening, take a quiet moment to lay your invisible crown at the feet of God. Say, this belongs to you. The act keeps your authority anchored in worship, not ego. That is how true kings and queens stay safe under glory. Remember, the purpose of your crown is not domination, but demonstration. It is not proof that you are above others, but that you are under divine order. A true king rules by serving. A true queen reigns by healing. Chosen one, your crown is not decoration, it is delegation. You have been entrusted with light, and that light must roar truth into darkness. When you stand before the mirror, the world may see reflection, but heaven sees royalty. You have survived the furnace, and now you wear the fire as glory. Walk softly under your crown. Speak only when heaven breathes through you. Move only when peace leads. The true roar will rise naturally from intimacy with God, not forced, not performed, but powerful. Let humility roar louder than pride, and love roar louder than fear. That is the sound of the chosen heaven's melody clothed in human voice. Even now, heaven watches as you balance the weight of that invisible crown. Every breath of humility polishes it brighter. Every act of quiet obedience strengthens its setting. You are learning to carry glory without losing grace. So stand firm, crowned one. Let your silence speak louder than noise, your peace roar stronger than pride. The world will see your crown, but only heaven will know the fire that forged it. Beloved chosen one, this is the moment heaven has been preparing you for, the day when everything you've walked through begins to make sense. The storms, the waiting, the pruning, the silence, they were never meant to destroy you. They were chiseling you into the shape of purpose. What felt like breaking was actually forming. You are not standing in ruins, you are standing in revelation. You've learned how to listen in stillness, how to discern the stirring, how to move in obedience, and how to carry your crown with humility. Now heaven calls you to shine, not as a display of ego, but as a lamp that guides others home. The same light that once saved you is now entrusted to you to save others. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Those words are more than prophecy, they are instruction. They do not say, wait until you feel ready, but arise now. Light does not wait for permission, it simply shines. This is your time to rise, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. The world is darker than ever, and heaven has hidden its brightest lanterns inside ordinary people like you. But even the brightest light can flicker if it stands alone. Lamps burn best when they are connected, when one flame lights another. That is why your presence here matters. You are part of a larger constellation, each of us a spark forming a sky of faith. And so, chosen one, if this message has stirred your heart, let your response be a quiet act of faith, like this message as one who tends to their inner flame. Every time you do, it is as if you whisper, Lord, keep my lamp burning. The simple act becomes worship, a nod to heaven that says you are still listening, still believing, still shining. Share this message as one who passes a torch through the night. Somewhere, someone is walking through a valley you've already survived. Your willingness to share becomes their spark of hope, a reminder that dawn is still possible. Subscribe as one who plants roots beside living water. Every connection here is another drop of refreshment for your soul, another reminder that the journey does not end with this message. The Spirit will continue to speak, and staying near keeps you within the river's current. And if you feel led, donate as one who pours oil into the lamp. The flame you help sustain today may light the path for thousands tomorrow. What you give is not lost. It becomes fuel for future fire, proof that your generosity was part of a divine story greater than yourself. Each of these gestures is not transaction, it is transformation. When you engage with sincerity, you are building altars in unseen places. You are turning your screen into sanctuary, your response into offering, your action into prayer. But above all, take a moment to comment something from your own heart. A short sentence, a whisper of testimony, a word of agreement. Maybe it's as simple as, "I'm shining," or "still standing." Your words become seeds, and heaven waters them. Someone will read your comment and find strength in it. You see, chosen one, community is the crown of faith. Even the strongest torch grows weary without the wind of encouragement. When you write, share, or give, you are breathing life into another soul's flame. You are saying, you are not alone in the dark. Think of it like a symphony, each believer a different instrument. Each note unique, yet together forming heaven's song on earth. Your light adds melody, your generosity adds rhythm, your courage adds harmony. Without your part, the song is incomplete. There is nothing small about your participation. In the kingdom, small acts ripple into eternity. A single share becomes a sermon. A quiet gift becomes a spark. A sincere comment becomes a confession that releases someone else's courage. So today, as you finish this chapter, pause for a moment. Look at where you stand, not at the ruins, but at the rebuilding. Not at what was lost, but at what was learned. You are no longer just surviving. You are shining. You are proof that faith works, that light wins, that purpose prevails. Rise, chosen one. Let your life preach without words. Let your giving echo louder than fear. Let your light speak in places your voice will never reach. Because the world may not know your name, but heaven does, and tonight, heaven writes it in light. Beloved chosen one, this is where the words grow quiet, but the message continues its journey within you. Every sentence you have heard was a seed, and seeds do not finish when they are spoken. They begin when they are planted. Something inside you has been stirred, awakened, reminded, or healed, and that is no small thing. Heaven does not waste even a whisper. Take a moment before you move on. Breathe. Ask yourself, what did you feel most deeply? Which line lingered after the sound faded? That is where heaven touched you. Guard that moment. Let it take root. You do not have to understand everything. You simply have to carry what was meant for you. If this message helped you see clearer, stand stronger, or believe again, you may choose to share it not as promotion, but as compassion. Someone you love might be walking through the same night you once knew. Your simple act of sharing could become the spark that reminds them dawn still exists. And if it did not meet you where you are, that is all right too. Every message is a mirror. Sometimes it reflects light. Sometimes it reveals need. Take the part that touched your heart and keep it quietly. Let it remind you that even in silence, heaven still speaks. The story of the chosen never really ends. It just keeps unfolding word by word, heart by heart, light by light.